those that came from Kingdom Building Ministries, want you guys to come and stand on this side of their leader, if you will. Can we celebrate God for them? And they gave up having their church service today. All of our clergy, all of our clergy, all of our clergy. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All of our clergy. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. And Tamika, if we could get, hallelujah, if we could get one more chair. Can y'all give me one more chair? Just one more. Amara, you are on it today, man. You are on it. You are on it, man. You are on it. You are on it. Amara, yeah, I'm going to sow into you, man, because you own it today. You own it. Just give me 6 minutes. The certificate of ordination says, we, the undersigned, hereby certify that upon the recommendation and request, and everybody from the Greater Grace Church, would you all rest on your feet? Greater Grace, amen. Would you all rest on your feet? Hallelujah. The Greater Grace Church, which had full and sufficient opportunity for judging his God-given gifts, and after satisfactory examination in regards to his Christian experience, called to the ministry and views of Bible doctrine, hereby certify that Billy B. Cherry Jr. was solemnly and publicly set apart and ordained to the work of the gospel ministry on this, amen. Today is the first, isn't it? On this first day of October 2017, Dr. James E. Jones, Senior Pastor, Lady Lisa B. Jones, Executive Director of Ministry Operations, and Dr. Renee F. Tan, Church Administrator. Come on, can we give God an incredible thank? Sir, everything that man thought they were taking from you, we decree and declare that by the power of the living God, he's going to restore not just what you thought you lost, he's going to give you stuff you never had. I just wish I had about 50 real folk that way. Let me say this, Greater Grace, while y'all are on your feet. This giant of a preacher here, his father, the late, great Billy Cherry Sr., served as the interim pastor of my very first church. And there was no greater man than his father. He wasn't a very educated man. He had never attended seminary, but he loved God in his heart. And I never ever met a greater man than this man's father. And the entire 8 years that I was there in Lewiston, his father served me and served the church. And what was powerful about it was when his father took sick, and I was working on my doctoral degree there in Louisville, Kentucky, I prayed to God, because he was in Kansas City, I prayed to God that God would let me see him one more time before he called him home. And do y'all know that this man's father was strong enough in faith to put death on hold? Y'all didn't hear what I said. To put death on. Y'all, he was alive when I got to Kansas City. They changed my flight just so I could see him. And before I could arrive back in Raleigh-Durham's airport, he was gone. And I promised his father on his deathbed that if any of his children or his wife ever needed anything, I'd be there. And this giant of a preacher senses that God has called him to do something different. How long you been licensed to preach?
Over 20 years.
Over 23 years of pastoring and preaching. But here's what's deep, Sister Jones. He decided to leave the CME church because God had called him to do something different. He had a church, building, pulpit, salary, and everything, and God told him to leave it. And in the middle of him wanting to lead these people, the denominational leader said, well, you've got to turn your license and your ordination certificate into us. And it broke his heart. He's been faithful. And he asked us as greater works, would we be the spiritual oversight for him and his church? And so today is monumental for us. And Pastor, we are so excited, and it does not yet appear what God shall do, what he's done for us. I wish I could get about 37 greater grace folk to begin to give him praise. You can take that ordination anywhere in the country, sir. Minister Will, come on and rest on your feet. You stood in the shoes of John, not to impress man, but to be faithful to God's command. The Lord declares, like he declared over Jesus, this is my beloved Son,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
in whom I am well pleased.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We're going to lay hands on you, and then we're going to get out of this place. But we want to welcome you into the family of God's servants, of God's leaders. Every day won't be like today, where you'll have a crowd of folk who will be there to cheer your every word. See, on the first sermon, folk are kind. I wish I had him here. The first sermon, folk are kind. They come. They support you, whether you mispronounce a word or whether you say something that may offend them.
But wait.
Oh. So enjoy today. Because it won't be like this always. There'll be moments where your family will hear that you are in the city and won't even leave the house. There will be days where you will open your mouth and folk will close their ears. But God has prepared you. The word says be instant. Preaching in season and out season. Servant well done.
Yes.
Tamika, you just lost about 100 friends. But it'll be all right. Because if they can't support you and your husband in the new direction, you didn't need them around you anyway. Lady Lisa now, Pastor Don, Dr. Tad, and Pastor Moss, and all of these preachers, we're going to stand with you.
Glory God.
Because Being a preacher's wife is a strange thing to be. Because folk want you to be yourself but can't handle you. But everything you've gone through has prepared you. And I say this to you as we prepare to pray. Don't worry about being a preacher's wife. That's right. Be his wife. To heck with what they think. You be his wife. A whole lot of preachers are miserable right now because their wives are trying to be preachers' wives and not.
Sir, teach, sir.
Come on,
you be his wife.
There you go.
Wow.
God called.
That's good, sir.
So y'all may rest in your seats. Let's pray. Y'all put your hands on them. Wow. I'm going to do this quick because we got to get out of here. Certificate of license. This is certified that William Wiggins Jr. is one who has given evidence of God's calling in the ministry as a preacher of the gospel, is licensed to function in ministry as the opportunity may be presented to exercise God's given gift. By the Greater Grace Church, Dr. James Jones, Senior Pastor, Dr. Renee Chan, Church Administrator, Lisa B. Jones, Executive Director of Ministries. On this, the first day of October 2017, we will put your license, sir, over here as we prepare. Everybody in the building, can you rest on your feet? Can you rest on your feet? Can you rest on your feet? Now, Minister Will, I want you to know we broke tradition today, and a whole lot of our ministers are looking around saying to themselves, well, he never gave me a chance to preach my first sermon. Yeah. It's floating through the atmosphere. I see about 5 folk with collars on saying, well, why he get to preach and I didn't get to preach? Can I get about 3 real folk just to shout, it's a new season. You can't put new wine. And not saying that everybody's going to get an opportunity to stand before the people on Sunday morning. But I knew he had something to say that the people of God needed to hear. See, because some of y'all want a collar so that you can have position, and some of y'all want a collar so you can get offering. And I rebuke that spirit. You are called, sir. All of your brokenness, all of your tears. Pastor Cherry, the 2 of you will forever be linked.
Yeah.
As we stretch our hands toward them. Yes, Lord.
Hallelujah.
We pray for them now, God. Like never before. Pastor Cherry, I hear the Lord say, if it ain't but 5 folk in that building, you preach like it's 5. I hear the Lord say, don't look to your left or your right, because man will deceive you, but look to the hills. Minister Will, now your life will never be the same. We ordain you, we set you apart, we license you for a greater work. And it's in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost that we do pray. And all of these clergy that are somewhat around, we now extend to you the right hand of fellowship. In Jesus' name, amen. Come on and give God praise. The new minister, William Wiggins. Come on, give it up. And Pastor Military Preacher Y'all welcome him. Come on. Give God praise. Come on. Come on, give God praise. Lord Jesus. All right. I'm going to decrease real quick and then we're going to make this presentation.
Preacher. Will your mom, your grandma, your auntie, sisters come forward? Your auntie, Tia, the Sanford family,